You know that feeling, right? You spend hours crafting the perfect resume, you hit send, and then crickets. Well, if you've ever felt like your applications just disappear, this is for you. Today we're digging into LiftResume AI, a tool that's built to tackle that exact problem, getting you past the bots and in front of an actual person.
Okay, let's just start with a number. 75%. Let that sink in for a second. That's the percentage of resumes that get rejected by software before a human being ever even sees them. It means 3 out of every 4 times you apply, your resume could be getting tossed out by a machine. So that's a huge problem, right? You could be the absolute perfect person for the job, but if your resume isn't written for a robot, you might as well be invisible. It really brings up the big question. How in the world are you supposed to beat these bots and just get a fair shot?
This is what people call the resume black hole. It's that void where it feels like all your hard work just vanishes. And the reason isn't some picky hiring manager. Nope, it's the technology that's running the show behind the scenes.
So let's meet the gatekeeper. It's called an applicant tracking system, or ATS for short. Honestly, the best way to think of it is like a bouncer for your resume. It scans every single application, and it's not looking for the most qualified person. It's looking for specific keywords and the right formatting. If you don't check those boxes, you're not getting in. Simple as that.
All right, so if the problem is a bot, how do you create a resume that a bot will actually love? This brings us to a really core feature in LiftResume AI, something they call the perfect match blueprint.
Now here's where things get really smart. This isn't just some generic resume template. The AI does 2 things. It reads your current resume, and it reads the specific job description you're applying to. Its whole job is to bridge the gap between what you have and what that company is explicitly asking for.
So, how does it all work? It's basically a simple 3-step process. First, the AI analysis zips through both documents and instantly finds the gaps, all the keywords and skills you're missing. Then, it gives you strategic recommendations. Not just add this, but how to rephrase things. And finally, the whole thing is optimized to make sure your resume sails right past those automated screeners.
And you know, the results can be pretty staggering. Listen to this from Sarah, a software engineer. She went from applying to 20 jobs and hearing nothing to getting 4 interviews in her first week. That's a night and day difference.
But let's be real, beating the bots is only one part of the struggle. The other part is just managing the pure chaos of the job hunt itself. Trying to track all your applications, remembering follow-ups, keeping notes, it's a lot.
We've all been there, right? The crazy spreadsheet with a million tabs, sticky notes that disappear, and that awful feeling when you realize you completely forgot to follow up with a company you were excited about. Well, the idea here is to swap that chaos for a clean system. A visual board to see your progress, reminders so you never drop the ball, and one single place for all your notes.
And here's what that looks like. It's called the Job Tracker Diary. It's this super clean, visual dashboard. You can see every application, what stage it's in, and when you need to follow up, all in one spot. It's really about taking all that organizational stress off your shoulders so you can just focus on nailing the interviews.
Oh, and get this. This entire organizational tool, the Job Tracker Diary, it's completely free. There's no catch, no extra cost. It's a seriously powerful feature that they just give to every single user to help bring some sanity back to the job search.
Okay, now for a super important detail that so many people miss. A perfect resume in the United States might actually be a terrible one in Europe or Asia. These regional differences are subtle, but they really, really matter. And LiftResume AI totally gets this. It gives you resume samples that are specifically tailored to different parts of the world. It knows that what's expected in the US is completely different from what's standard in the EU, and it makes sure you're using the right format for the right place. A perfect example of this is the headshot. Here in the US or in the UK, putting a photo on your resume is a huge no-no. It can get you disqualified immediately. But in many other parts of the world, it's expected. The tool knows these little unwritten rules, so you don't get accidentally screened out over a simple cultural detail. So, we've gone through the features, but what about the results? You know, at scale. Let's just look at the raw data and the impact this is having on thousands of professionals out there. Over 52,000. That's how many pros have jumped on board this platform to try and get a handle on their job search. That alone tells you there's a huge need for a smarter way to do this. But this number, this might be the one that matters most. On average, people who use LiftResume see a 65% jump in their resume's ATS score. Now, think back to that 75% rejection rate we started with.
A score that's 65% higher means you have a much, much better chance of being in the pile that actually gets seen by a human.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one you have to ask yourself. The world of hiring is being totally transformed by AI. So the question isn't just, is my resume good? The real question is my resume ready for the AI revolution?